Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And this is a little bit late.
No, it's not. It's right on time.
Well, we got to filming this weekend, and we're like, this is just too good of a time. We forgot to do the things we came to do.
Yeah, we got drunk.
It happens to the best of us, Jim. But yeah, so last week, I went and saw two. I think you saw these in the same day too, didn't you?
No, we were separate. Yeah.
I saw Antman and the Wasp, and then I saw the first Purge later that day, and it was a dark day. No, it wasn't that bad. You know, as a double feature goes, it could be.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Purge was the greatest movie of all time.
Oh, jeez. Well, since it's called the first Purge, we'll go with that one first.
You're angry.
Yes, I'm angry. Very angry.
You want to release that anger?
I need to.
Thank you for your honest answers. First, a few formalities. Batesias, the official flower of the experiment, they represent rebirth. In the box you have recording lenses, contacts. Should you choose to actively participate, wear them on the evening and they'll document everything you do.
So today we're going to have reviews for the first Purge and for Ant-Man and the Wasp, which... we'll put the spoilers at the end. There's not very many spoilers for either movie, so we can honestly get away with not even doing spoilers for this. Just neither movie has that really spoilery feel to its asshole.
Yeah.
But, so, the first Purge, like, how do you feel about this franchise as a whole? Like, not a whole, but as a whole. Whiskey.
I think it feels good on the whole. As a whole, the series of the Purge is fine. I'm down with the Purge, not like in real life. Like, let's go fuck shit up. But as a whole, it's cool. It's fine. I just think that overall, I think it could have ended with the first one and moved on past that and not ever made another one. Now, the Frank Grillo ones, they were fine. They were cool. But when you get into the origin part of it, which is this one, the first Purge, that part is cool. I like the idea that you get to see what transpired and what made the Purge happen in the first place. But when you make it about a fucking drug dealer that becomes the hero and can do some kung fu, Jackie Chan, Shidoshi shit against elite military, and you throw out the rules, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? Look, and then not only that, you're using CG to show blood effects. Look, if I wanted CG, I'd fucking Nintendo. I don't want CG in my horror movies. I just don't give a shit. Like, why even... You can't use practical effects for that. Like, the movie also... overall, in a nutshell, is boring. It's predictable. It's stale. The characters, for the most part, are just awful. The main guy, the drug dealer, which I don't like his character, but the actor's all right. It doesn't make sense that he's the superhero that they make him out to be. Like, he's the fucking king of the hill after everything goes down. Because at the end of the day, he was still slinging fucking drugs to everybody on the block. Jenny was on the block and she was slinging it. And I just didn't like that shit. I mean, I just don't like that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, well, no, I'm with you on just about all that, man. I mean, as far as the whole series goes, though, like, I enjoy the shit out of the first Ethan Hawke film. I love the fact that Ethan Hawke's in some horror movies. I thought the home invasion aspect was cool, but I think everybody kind of felt the same way. It was like, well, this sounded like a cool idea. Why are you going to focus on one family when it's such a wide-scoping thing? And then you realize they're going to do a sequel every other year, and they're going to tell different stories, which, to me, that sounds like a way better idea. Because, I mean, it's spanning the globe, and it's every single year that they're doing it, so you can do so many different stories and so many different things with it. Now, to me, up to this point, the series got better as it went along. Well, no, not the second one. I like the first one better than the second one. The third one's my favorite because Frank Grillo and his badassery. I thought that was really good. But I'm with you, dude. On this one, you're getting introduced to the character, and the main guy, Yulin, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Yulin Noel, dude, he's badass. Like, I think the actor himself was really good. I thought he was action movie material for sure. I would love to see him do more shit. Like, I think he could be a really good action star. Like, I was that impressed with him. But like you said, his character fucking sucked. Like, you're supposed to be rooting for this guy, and when the movie starts, like, he's selling drugs. He's not just selling drugs. He's not on a corner. He is the ringleader.
He's the kingpin of the whole fucking neighborhood.
Yeah, he's literally Kingpin from Daredevil. You think Matt Murdock would have let him get away with this shit?
Hell no, he would have hired Foggy Nelson. But yeah, I know. And the other thing about it is that just the interactions between him and the girl, which is the younger or the older sister of this kid that she's taking care of, which he comes into play later on. It didn't, like, the whole thing, she's like, you want to take care of us, right? And he's like, yeah, girl, I got you. I'm going to kill this motherfucker. It's going to be good. And you're like, it didn't even seem like I don't know what the fuck was happening. Like half the time I was watching one movie and then it shifted into something else, and then I felt like I was watching Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson and Tupac. Like it just wasn't working for me.
No, I do. One thing I love about it, and some people are knocking this, and some people like it. And this is kind of a double-edged sword. I love the fact that they did like a hood version of The Purge, like Juice and like Menace to Society and all that. Like I love that idea.
If it had been done right.
If it had been done right.
Yeah.
Like that is a great idea. It's fantastic. But the problem is that you had nobody to root for at all. Like there was the one kid who was on the corner selling drugs, but if he was the focal point and if he was Elon Knowles' character, I could have got it because you could see why he was doing it. He had no other, and they mentioned that a couple times. Like I have no other options. I just want to get out of here. This sucks. This is terrible. My life sucks. Like I get all that, but the main guy that the movie just loves, and I love the actor but not the character, is this guy who there's never one moment where he's like, you know what, I have been killing this community, I'm gonna stop selling drugs. He never says it. No. He never, through all this, like you think that there's gonna be some character arc where he's like, okay, now he realizes the damage he's caused. The only thing you get is a couple looks, like when that girl comes in and he's making like shit tons of money, he's running this whole city. And the girl comes in, and she's an old flame or whatever, and she makes him think. He's like, damn, I didn't think about it like that. But I'm still going to sell drugs and shoot people in the middle of the street.
Well, even after the movie ends and he's like the hero, like I said, of the whole fucking neighborhood, yeah, he never has a redemptive arc, I guess. I mean, not like as far as he says, I mean, you're assuming that he's going to put down the drugs and take up the hammer, but I doubt it very seriously. What he's probably thinking in the back of his drug dealer kingpin like mine, he's like, damn, a lot of people are going to need Xanax after this. I'm going to upgrade my drugs. But, you know, like, and it's corny. Like, it's not even like it's just bad. It's corny how they introduce him at the end as this hero. You know, they're walking him through the streets like, make way. Make way for the champion. Make way for the king. I was like, he's not fucking Apollo Creed. He didn't just take the belt. He's a drug dealer that got lucky and killed a bunch of bad guys. Like, cool, that's awesome, but at the same time, it's not worth him fucking being celebrated. If anything, they could have maybe given him some respect or that people were thanking him, but not in that way. Not in like a open, like, cool, I'm going to bow to your presence. Like, that doesn't work out.
Like, if he'd have stopped them and been like, no, don't look up to me. She was right. I've been killing this community for years. Because the one character even says it. She's like, what are you worried about the Purge for? You've been killing people in this community for years with your drugs and shit. Yeah. And like, and then the movie just glosses over it. And what I think that the point that they're trying to get across is here, like, they didn't want to, the movie did not want to be like, it's not cool to sell drugs. They wanted you to think that he was this great, amazing guy and sells drugs, and there was nobody to root for at all. Like, you do have the one kid, like I said, and the one guy that I liked in it as a villain type character was Skeletor. Like, he was like, there's
Great skull will fall.
There's nothing scary in the movie at all.
No.
You get a couple masks. The one dude with a squirt gun, one dude comes up and scares the shit out of you, and then just has a squirt gun. Like, I don't even know what the
I
point
would have
was.
squirted out of my wiener if he had done that.
But like, you know. That Skeletor dude was
he was the only one
was stupid, but it was still kind of scary.
He was the only one that actually fit in the Purge movie.
Yeah,
like, because mostly the Purge is, you know, what the movie explains is it's this experiment that the new founding fathers want to try out, and Staten Island happens to be the location that they're going to try this experiment, and you have the whole world watching to see how this plays out. And it really plays on the fact that overpopulation and you know, we don't have enough resources to go around, and that's why they're doing this. And they also offer money and incentives to people to sign up for the Purge and give them psych evaluations for the fucking crazy. And so it's basically a prey on lower income families and things to go out, you know, because I think they said that they sign up initially for $5,000 cash as long as they stay in the city during the Purge. And if they participate, they get like bonuses based on how much they participate in the Purge. I like all that. I thought that was set up really, really well. And Skeletor, the villain, I was going to say Skeletor, is like, do you? I always think of the Masters of the Universe, but he fit the profile perfectly for what I thought was going to be focused around him, and then maybe having through his eyes, you see the Purge go down. That would have been an interesting thought. The idea having the house that Jack built that we've already done the trailer reaction for, they're going to have it showcased through the serial killer's eyes. How different it would have been as a Purge movie if you had seen it through Skeletor's eyes most of the movie as the Purge progressed and what it was like. Because again, there were some cool elements and ideas behind what they were trying to go for, and I think that if they had maybe brainstormed a bit more and not been constipated and have to go to the toilet, they would have come up with a better script. And also, the fact that Skeletor, he as good as he was as far as like making sense, I just think that he was also a bit overacted too. Like, it was a bit too much. Yeah, it felt like a fucking bad guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme would roundhouse kick him really fast in a fucking tournament and he'd be dead.
Something cool that they did was Marissa Tomei's in this, by the way.
Wasted.
Totally wasted. But she's doing the Jason Bourne thing behind the monitors, watching with this a couple guys that are in the crew that are trying to push this whole purge thing forward. And she's like, why isn't anybody purging? Like, why aren't they doing anything?
Because they haven't eaten enough.
And it's kind of cool what they do. They show that, like, at first, no one's actually killing. Like, these are actually good people or whatever for the most part. And they go out there and they just have a giant party. Yeah. And it's a giant fun rave. And then at one point, when Skeletor goes through there and he starts doing his thing, like, I was cracking up, dude, because he was making this face the entire time. It was just funny as hell. But yeah, Tomei's completely wasted. Like, I won't go into detail about what happens with her character. She could have been any fucking one. Like, they totally wasted a good actress.
As a scientist, leading scientist on the actual purge, because it was her idea to begin with, the whole experiment, you would have thought that she would have had more of an impact in the movie overall, or the progression of the plot, or like letting the audience know specifically why they do it. They do give you a little information, again, a psychological experiment to see if the American people would do it, but they don't go into real details about what her motivations are for really wanting to do it, except for the new founding fathers adopting that idea and putting it into play, because they obviously, for political reasons, want to do it. And again, Marissa, she's such a great actress too, and the way that they at the end, like you said, they treat her as like, fuck me. Just go back to Homecoming.
There was no reason for this to be a prequel. Now, they are setting up a TV series, and I don't know if it's going to be based on this or whatever.
Joy to the world.
There was no reason at all for this to be a prequel. They could have literally just had this be another Purge movie, and they could have focused on the inner city area and what they're trying to do there. I have no idea why they made it a prequel or called it the first Purge, because, as you said, they could have gone into way more detail about why this is doing it, how this actually took place, the details behind what went wrong. You still got to have your violence and shit like that in there for the
like
Friday night moviegoers. Yeah, but you could have done it, and it felt like some people are giving this movie a pass because they're talking about how the movie mentions racism and things like that, and they're trying to talk about it like it's Get Out, and it's not at all. Like, Get Out was subtle, it was smart. This was basically all this movie said, and I don't want to get into this topic at all, so I'll leave it alone after this. But all this movie was trying to say is white people are trying to kill you. Like, that's all it was. They even on purpose had a scene where a bunch of cops, guys dressed as cops, were in a baseball field, like walking a guy down and killing him. And if you want to go that route, if you want to tell that story and do it smartly, or do it with some, two sides to it, I get it. But this basically was just like, hey, crack dealers are awesome, and it's no one's fault but ours.
Yeah, and they create Skeletor. You create Skeletor.
And there's a lot to say there about the inner city and about how but nobody takes them seriously. And there's a lot of smart shit you could have done with this movie.
But the whole idea, again, and I agree with you. I as far as like what felt being attacked, though, I felt like Oompa Loompas were against me. I mean, that was the political message that I took away from it. No, I know what you mean, but. The fact that it takes place and centralized in the inner city neighborhood, that's fine. But the Purge, it's the entirety of Staten Island. So if you're going to do a Purge movie, why wouldn't you show the entirety of Staten Island? And they do show in the fact, and there were elements in it that were obviously race fueled, as far as showcasing certain things. But there's also things they could have explored more too, like the socioeconomic situation where you have the elites, the top 2%, against the people that are on the bottom. And that's what you see lined up, white, black, brown, everything in the middle, lining up to sell out their soul basically to get money because they don't have anything. And the elite liking this, loving this, maybe even show while, these poor people are getting this money and are being basically manipulated to go out and kill each other. You could show like people living in mansions and high up, like eating popcorn like it's a fucking show. Like, this is really going to get me off because my wife is not doing it for me anymore. And this Viagra sucks. But that would have been another element you could have added to it, which they did not explore. So again, there are a lot of missed opportunities. Ray Finkel fucked it up and laces out. But there's a lot of opportunities that they missed. And there are some things they hit, but not enough to make me feel like the movie was worth a while. And at the end of the day, I feel like I got a whole bag of jelly beans shoved up my ass. And by the way, speaking of which, the forced comedy in this was awful. They were trying to use some levity You know how some horror movies just have that one person or two people that are supposed to be the comic relief? Fucking awful. It was forced. It was terrible dialogue. It was corny. It was wooden, much like our channel. But at the same time, it was just terrible to see it on the big screen. And I was honestly disappointed while sitting there. I almost wanted to leave halfway through the fucking movie because at the end of the day, I'm thinking, this is, if anything else, this is a sci-fi fucking movie on the level for me of Sharknado. Like it's just corny. It's stupid wooden acting at the best, and it's missed opportunities at the worst. And I just felt like leaving the theater. I was in search mode the entire time. Okay, guys, like Terminator, and all I found appropriate response was "fuck you, asshole." That's it. That's all I had.
And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not offended at all. Like,
No.
the movie doesn't offend me. I'm not like, how dare you say this? Like, I get what the movie's trying to say, but they're just doing a terrible job of it. Like, it's so just blatant and over the top, and it's just not. There's nothing to think about, man. It's just.
I didn't walk away with any keen ideas on anything.
And don't get me wrong, I would have been fine if The Purge had nothing to say at all, and The Purge was just like, if it was a horror movie, if it was a straight up horror movie or a straight up action movie. But they wanted to act like they had something to say. They wanted to act like the entire point of the movie was that they had something to say, when in fact they didn't. And it didn't have any horror in it, which is fine. It didn't have to. I get that The Purge is going further and further away from horror.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go further and further away from horror, you should go to saying something smart or making a stance on the world the way it is today. And they just failed every aspect of this. Now, I do love the end of the movie, and I won't go into spoilers here on it because I don't want to just take a dive off that bridge. But there was a Die Hard-like situation. And like I said, even though I hate his character, man, that Yulin Noel was a badass in this movie.
Yeah.
And there's an awesome Die Hard situation. It was like the Nakatomi Plaza when he has to go up floors and do stuff.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There's this one bad guy who's like, they're all like, he looks like
He looks like a German fucking... He looks like the dude from...
Seth Rollins, Henry Rollins. He looks like Henry Rollins, yeah. But and he was kind of a badass villain. But again, like they were trying so hard to say some stupid ass shit in this movie.
Yeah.
And but that guy was badass, and the standoff at the end was badass. And I thought the special effects, minus the terrible CGI, 300 on a cheaper budget,
Way cheaper.
blood was garbage.
Well, also, I agree with what you're saying with brother, but I also want to say too, there's a way to tell to bring about a message. You know, and it doesn't matter what movie it is, horror, action, romance, whatever you want to say. There's a way to do it, and the best, if you can tell a good movie, it's the subtlety in which they tell the message behind it. They don't just blatantly fucking obviously say it and try to hide it behind something else, which is what they were trying to do, and they didn't even do a good job of doing it. It's just awful. Like, I would say, like, in a subtle way, in the way that you tell a political message or whatever you're trying to get across in certain ways, is something like, just for example, old school, Night of the Living Dead, George Romero. He was talking about racism in that movie, and he did it in such a smart, subtle way that people were like, I wonder, because they were able to think about it and say, okay, I see what he was doing here. You cast a black man as the lead role, telling, you know, in the time, in the 68, that was unheard of in that time for this kind of movie. And the whole situation about the mindlessness of people and the way that they act, and those are zombies. Dawn of the Dead is dealing with consumerism, that we're all zombies because we all flock to one thing and we are mindless creatures. Again, subtle things that he was able to put in his movie that got you the political message and got that part across without being obvious about it. Be like, here's a big wiener in your face. Look at my wiener. Which is what this movie did. It's a fucking child stumbling around in the dark with a flashlight trying to figure out what the fuck a light switch is. And that's basically what they are. They're a big kid and fucking stumbling around hitting Legos and stumbling.
That's an amazing point to bring up about Night of the Living Dead, dude, because that's a movie that makes you go, you know what? Racism sucks. And people who are racist fucking suck. Let's think about it and let's talk about it. Let's show how it really is. Rather than something that's just trying to jump on the moment and go, hey, white people are trying to kill you. Let's push a hateful agenda rather than talk about, you know, how shitty it is or what we can do to change it or smartly bring up the topic in a way that gets people talking. This was childish.
But if you want to, we'll move off. I mean, because I don't want to talk about it.
No, I don't either.
All I want to do is say that, again, I'll reiterate the fact that it had great elements in it and it had missed opportunities. And that's really what if you're going to boil this down in a nutshell, a good premise, missed opportunities in a nutshell is what the movie is. And as far as a horror movie itself, or as far as a movie itself, overall, even without the political bullshit garbage that was trying to be pushed off in this, the movie sucked, guys. I mean, honestly, if it was great and it was good, despite it being obvious,
Oh, yeah.
I would tell you, like, hey, you know what? It was still fucking cool time and had a great time. The action sequences, some of them were cool. Most of them fell flat. The comedic relief was obviously forced and wooden. I mean, I felt like I was watching goddamn Hayden Christensen again. And overall, besides a few little parts in it, I was bored out of my fucking mind because it was predictable. It was not subtle. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away, and I wanted to leave halfway through. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll go see Cars 4. That movie's not out yet, but I would.
Yeah, dude, I give it a 5. That's a nice rating for me. I give it a 5 because, like I said, I really like the main actor. I like a couple of the ideas they had, like with the contact lenses, where you could see what they were doing, which is weird. This was a prequel. They don't have that. They're not using that technology now. It's a strange jump off, but I thought that the action was good. I love the main actor. It just, like you said, man, so many missed opportunities. And why did you waste a movie that could have explained the origin of the Purge on not telling that story at all? And why would you waste this great idea of making a hood Purge movie? Like, that would have been so cool if you had done it in a different way and had one character to lead you through it that had some moral background, something that you could grasp onto.
Well, the kid would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was going to say, I'm going to give it a 3.0. I hated it way worse than you, and honestly, I had to fight every fiber of my being to fucking not to sit through it. But yeah, you're right. Why would you not put in a product placement and put Surge in the Purge? Put Surge Returns in the Purge. But yeah, man, overall, I would say if you're a huge fan of the Purge and you want to see and know everything about it, and you sleep at night with a poster wrapped around your little wiener and you want to continue the Purge, go watch it. But overall, as a movie, just do yourself a favor and wait for it to be on Netflix or rent it off Redbox.
Hey,
or something.
And a lot of people do like it a lot.
I know, but each his own. I mean, that's awesome, man. If you feel like you got your bang for your dollar,
yeah,
that's awesome. But
and the last thing I'll say about it is I keep thinking about this main character and how bad I wanted to like him. Michael B. Jordan's character in Black Panther, he's literally a villain. Like, he is a villain in that
Killmonger.
movie. Yeah, and I could so get behind his cause and what he was trying to do. Like, to me, I understood where he was coming from way more than I understood could get behind the lead good guy in this movie. So if that tells you anything,
that's good storytelling and subtleties that go, that you don't have to be obvious about, that are just still telling the story.
Yes. So that is the first Purge, and
God have mercy on your soul.
So I'm gonna watch the TV series, but I really hope that they don't take off from this. I hope that they go with different characters.
I feel like it's gonna be like the fucking Strain.
But if I get
FX,
yeah, that was good at first.
Yeah.
But dude, if I can get anything out of this movie that I want, I would love to see Lionel in action movies, man. I would love to see him play. I think he's going to. I think you'll see him in.
I'd like to see him as like maybe Spawn or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be badass, dude. He'd be perfect. But Jamie Foxx is playing Spawn, which is even more badass, which is great. And Jeremy Renner's in that now too. That's greatness, Jim.
That's Twitch.
Yeah. So, all right. So, moving on. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
There was a wasp and an ant, and they fucked, and they had a bee.
I always said there was going to be spoilers at the end of this movie. There's almost no point to. We'll talk a little bit about what happens at the end of this at the end here, but we'll give you fair warning for the spoilers. So, The Wasp is directed by the same guy who did the first one, Peyton Reed. And I don't even know why they called it Ant-Man and the Wasp, because when I read that, I thought that we're going to see him and her team up and do stuff, and he did. Yeah. But this was just more of the same, really. It was really just a continuation in every sense of the word of the first movie.
Well, they didn't really have much team-up action until maybe a little bit towards the third of the movie, but it was, I mean, when they used it, it was good. It was cool little action sequences and the way that they combined their powers, and as far as like how they worked off each other. And Evangeline Lilly is fucking hot, by the way. Woo. God damn. But anyhow, besides that, ignore this boner. But besides that, she's also a great actress, and she embodied that character really well. And you can tell that she cares about the character. You see, yeah, you're right. It's just a straight continuation. It's almost like Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp could be just one full movie. Yeah. And I know a lot of people have said this, and I don't really necessarily agree with it, but I kind of do after watching it. It does feel in some way, as much as I enjoyed the movie, I did like the movie, it does in some way feel like a filler between this and Captain Marvel going into Infinity War Part 2. Yeah. It's not like it's not a good movie, and it wasn't rushed by any means, and there is a connection between the two, but it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel like, how Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was good, but it just didn't feel and live up, not that it didn't live up to its hype, but it just didn't feel as unique as the first one. Yeah. It's still the same way, I think, in this too. And really, the whole concept of the story behind Ant-Man and the Wasp is that Hank Pym is recruiting Scott Lang once again. Scott Lang is under house arrest. That's what you find out, that he wasn't in the Infinity War. He's under house arrest. Hank Pym and the Wasp want to find him so that they can bring him. They're going to open a portal up to this extra dimensional space and go and find Janet Van Dyne, played by Sharon Stone, and she didn't uncross her legs.
You said Sharon Stone.
I mean,
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well,
you got a look on your face like you've been fucked in a month.
Oh, damn it. They are same. But yeah, Sharon, okay, I was thinking about Sharon Stone. I watched Basic Instinct a couple of days ago and got them. But anyhow, yeah, that's the whole idea. Scott Lang is still, I think, a cool-ass Marvel character, and Paul Rudd plays it perfectly. He's definitely a good addition to the cast overall in the Avengers lineup. And the one dude, his best friends are back. They're funny as fuck. I mean,
Michael Pena
and Crew, but there's one specific scene with the Russian guy. He's like, "Whoever heard of the Baba Yaga?" It's like Baba Yaga.
He said Baba Yaga. I prayed to God. I really thought they were going to mention John Wick, which would have been funny as fuck.
He's like, "There's a mountain outside that John Wick."
But they remind me of us, dude. Like if we were in that situation around all these superheroes, because that one dude comes in. Walton Goggins plays it. Walton Goggins.
I didn't like him that much.
Yeah, he's just like a typical Marvel useless.
He's a
villain.
great actor, though. I loved him in Hateful Eight.
Yeah, and Justified. He was good in that too. But yeah, he's a businessman who wants to do business with them, and he becomes like a sinister mob bad guy because they won't do business with him.
Yeah.
So he goes. This one guy has this truth serum, but he won't call it that. He gets offended when you call it that. And the whole time, Michael Pena and them were like, "No, dog, it's truth serum.
Like, that's not the truth serum."
He's like, "What's it? Was it make you tell the truth?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's truth serum."
Yeah,
it's funny as fuck. But yeah, and they're trying to start a security company while all this shit's going on, and that's how Paul Rudd's character ends up fucking a lot of stuff up because he's trying to juggle all this stuff at the same time. The main heart of this movie and the first movie, I like this. To me, this is right dead even with the first movie. I like them both the exact same. It's got the heaviness and the stakes of a CW crossover, but it's just funny and it's enjoyable. It's well made. There's nothing crazy like and tied in the Marvel universe in between it. It's just an easy movie to sit down and watch. I mean, you could wait for it to come out on rental, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie for that reason. I'm just saying that like it's just a good movie. I mean, it's kind of refreshing in a way that it's like the way movies used to come out, you know? They didn't have to be this huge property or whatever. And it's got action, and you do see him get big a couple times, which is really...
Yeah, he grows out. I think he gets larger in this one than he had even in the other one. I think he gets like fucking 80 feet or some crazy shit like that. That's badass. And by the way, you can't fix it. He's like, "I'm going to go to sleep now." Because he gets tired. But yeah, I agree with that. And also the fact that what centers this movie and anchors it, makes it slightly different than the other ones, is the relationship that he has with his daughter.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And it's more specific and more direct focus about why he's doing what he's doing, which again, it's a continuation of the first one. Scott Lang is not necessarily superhero material. He's a criminal that just got caught up in this craziness, but he wants to do it all for his daughter, which is a great idea and a cool thing. We family, dog. Fast and Furious. And then also Vin Diesel shows up. But also I want to talk about the villain really quick. The two villains in this, which I was kind of thrown for a loop. Lawrence Fishburne shows up, and goddamn, the Matrix has been it's been doing good for him. Those stakes have been doing it. But he shows up as Bill Foster, and I know a lot of you comic book fans out there know Bill Foster as Goliath. He even says that he was a part of the Goliath program, and in the comic books, Bill Foster is Goliath. He's a superhero that joined the Avengers at one point. That was pretty cool, but he turns out to be the backer, and this is a little spoiler here, he turns out to be the backer for the villain in this movie called Ghost, which is a character that she's like able to shift in and out of the quantum realm, and that's her superpower. But she's tearing her apart, and what she wants to do is suck Janet Van Dyne dry.
Apart, Barbara.
Yeah, but she wants to suck Janet Van Dyne dry, basically, and heal herself.
Me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to see it. But
Catwoman.
You know, so it's a race to find out who gets to the first Wasp first.
Cool visual effect on the villain, by the way. Like she looks like a spider because she's got that weird helmet with those eyes or whatever.
She's cute though.
When she shows up to fight with the Wasp, which by the way, the effects on her are really cool.
Yeah.
I like how they keep getting big and small. It's my favorite.
It did. Speaking of the Matrix, it did remind you of Neo. He's like upgrades.
But the way she moves is kind of freaky. When you see her in the suit at first and it shows up, it's like, oh, this might be a pretty cool villain. And it's not a bad villain. It's better than the villain from the first Ant-Man movie, that's for sure. But it's still nothing special. I mean, it's still really just like a side story that you don't really care if it ever shows up again or not. But they did a good job with it. The actress who played the villain was good. I did love how they had this effect where Scott Lang's suit kept fucking up. Like it would just do whatever the hell it
was like that experimental suit that Pym gave him.
Yeah, so he'll get really big or really small, and at one point he's in the school.
Let's just talk about my wiener. Sometimes
this whole thing is a dick.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just like I can't help it.
And when it gets big, afterwards you get tired.
I know, but it's like up, down, and sometimes it doesn't work.
And when it gets big, it fucks up stuff and it creates trouble for you.
Just knocking over coffee mugs. It's that long.
But there's a really funny scene that reminded me of the scene in Deadpool where he gets stuck as like a kid size while he's inside of the high school, or while he's inside of the elementary school. That shit was hilarious, man. I want him to do what he did in Role Models, where he's like, Minotaur, taste the beast.
Yeah, that was funny.
But going back to the same thing, man, the heart and soul of this movie, I love the stuff between him and his daughter. It's done really, really, really well. And it actually brought me to tears in this movie and the first one a couple times. There's a couple little touching scenes in, but it's hilarious because Paul Rudd's funny as fuck. And the only thing I don't like about these movies is it feels like Hank Pym was a big deal. Like, you know,
the comic books, Hank Pym was a founder of the Avengers.
Yeah, like it just seems like both Hank Pym and Michael Douglas kind of get the shaft in these movies.
He's all right. I mean, he's good. He still plays a snarky asshole that he did in the first one, which is great. I like seeing Michael Douglas do that since Falling Down the Motherfucker rocks. Yeah. But
the game,
he does feel a bit glossed over. But in his defense, or in the studio's defense anyway, it is called Antman and the Wasp, and they really wanted to make that whole thing happen in this way. So that's okay. Honestly, guys, in the end, it's just a superhero movie. It's a great superhero movie with a cool little family element in it that makes it a little different than the rest of them. And Scott Lang, as far as Paul Rudd portraying him, continues to be the goofy fucking fuck up that he is, that everybody loves. He's not as cool as maybe Chris Pratt, but I like him. I like the character a lot. And Hope Van Dyne, Evangela Lily's character, is going to be great. And the villain is memorable, I guess, in this movie, but not. I mean, again, these movies are more of a kind of trippy-ass Doctor Strange, crazy special effects with good acting to center it kind of movies that you go see. It's not going to have... And this one... And I think it was good. I think they did this for a reason, to make it right after Infinity War. I know it kind of is on a schedule, but because of the heaviness of Infinity War, and it guys, it's Disney, universe also that owns Marvel. They maybe wanted to get some uplifting parts to it, and this movie is... overall has a lot of uplifting storytelling in it, so it's not really anything that's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Ant-Man
which is
had a butter stick in his butt.
It's a nice break, dude. It's a really nice break to be able to sit down and watch a movie and just enjoy it for what it is. You know what it is? It's the True Lies of the Terminator franchise.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying.
You're fired.
You're fired. True Lies was just like a fun action movie that made jokes and it had a good time, but the action was still good. It was still fun. If you compare True Lies to Terminator 2 would be the Avengers, Infinity War, and this would be True Lies. Like, it's done really well. Again, I really like what they did when they made things big and small again. Mm-hmm. I know I already said that once, but they did it in a smart way. It never got old. Like, the cars kept getting big or small.
And there's intelligence behind the special effects. It's not like you're sitting through, like, Transformers.
And it's well done, too. Yeah. It's really well made. And the set pieces and the action's really good, and the characters are all likable. Yeah, it's kind of what Transformers wished it was.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. And again, I'm going to reiterate, and it's not a bad thing, I'm just saying it's true. As you watch the movie, it's easy to watch, like you said. It's fun. It's you can sit back and just relax, not really have to overthink anything and how this connects to that, even though you're going to be doing that anyway. But it is a filler. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And people need it, like the Marvel movie, to get to the next one. It's going to be Captain Marvel. And speaking of a spoiler, here comes a big one. Ant-Man is a woman. No, the spoiler is at the end, after the credits roll, the normal way, you see the Wasp, or Hope Van Dyne, Hank Pym, and Scott Lang. They're playing around with the quantum realm. Hank Pym sends Scott Lang through the quantum realm to get this healing stuff for the villain in this, which was a Ghost, who has made amends with them to keep her together. And while he's in there, he's communicating back and forth through the radio, and then he can't hear him anymore, and then boom, it cuts to the ash falling. And it was Janet Van Dyne also out there with him. So Janet Van Dyne, Hope Van Dyne, and Hank Pym all become ash after Thanos snapped his finger, and Scott Lang is still alive, fucking stuck in the quantum realm, which also leads a lot of people to speculate this is going to play a big part in the Avengers movie, because the quantum realm, where you find space and time don't really have any meaning there, and he's stuck there, so how's he going to get out, especially since anybody can't pull him out? Who knows? I mean, so that's pretty interesting to see how they're going to play that into the Infinity War Part 2, but that's the big spoiler. So I think a lot of people were hoping the Wasp would stay around to fight with the Avengers, because she didn't really get to see her in the Civil War, but she's not in.
And Scott's stuck in the quantum realm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are you going to get him out? The only one I could think of,
they
maybe
better not nerf that shit.
Well, the only one
out of it.
is maybe. I mean, it would be stupid, but what if Bill Foster was just walking by, like, I'm on the roof, like, oh shit, somebody's stuck in there.
Yeah, going forward with that though, like,
could be Ghost.
There's some people that think that Ghost is going to have something to do with the Infinity Stones because of her relationship to the quantum realm or whatever. But you know, at one hand, this will piss me off. On the other hand, it might be kind of a good thing. If Scott Lang is stuck in the quantum realm for the entirety of the rest of how Infinity War plays out, it's going to suck because it's going to feel kind of like it felt with the last one where Hulk was gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was in the beginning or whatever, but where he didn't have much to do with the end of it. That felt kind of shitty.
I would buy into that, but except for the fact that, and I know you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen those leaked photos yet of the Infinity War Part 2, but on the set where you see Ant-Man talking to young Captain America. And
I didn't see that.
Tony Stark, yeah. They're on the streets of New York from the original Avengers, and they're all together, and he's in his costume and everything. Ant-Man's there.
Okay.
So he's out of it at some point, and also...
What if I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here, but I'll forget this if I don't say it. What if he uses the quantum realm to save some people? Like, we need to go here while Thanos destroys the Earth, because if not, we're going to die too.
Well, in the leaked photos, this one guy spotted it, and he saw it. On each of their hands, they have this, like, device. Tony Stark's got one. Ant-Man's got one. It looks like a time displacement thing. And it's on the set of the original Avengers battle in New York. And a lot of people are speculating that Tony Stark, because he survived, finds out a way to get into the quantum realm and use it to time travel back to the first Avengers and warn them. And also, that also brings in why Bruce Banner is back as the Hulk, because he's, changed. Now, there's also one fan theory out there that has nothing to do with Ant-Man and Wasp, but I want to throw it out anyway because I just saw it. And a lot of people are saying, holy fuck. A lot of people are thinking that Loki never died, and he was actually Bruce Banner the entire time during the Infinity Gauntlet War, because that's why he couldn't change, because he was Loki.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, that'll blow your fucking mind, but I don't think that's the case. But anyhow, it's going to be interesting moving forward to see how they play that into...
The Saw music starts. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Game over.
Dun, dun, dun.
No! But yeah, it's going to be interesting moving forward how they're going to implement all these different things. That's one thing that Disney Marvel has done masterfully since the beginning is how they tie these characters together. I still am pissed off. The only thing I am mad about, but the Ant-Man being... it could have been... is that... what's his name? Walked off the project in the first Ant-Man. The director that was going to be up.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. I would have loved to see what Edgar Wright would have done with Ant-Man and that whole universe.
Definitely, dude. And and by the way, before we go, they showed a Halloween poster in The Purge.
Oh, yeah.
In the kids' room. That was dope.
Yeah, and speaking also of The Purge, best part of that movie, and that's why I give it an extra 1.0, Jim, is because you actually got to see the fucking Halloween trailer on the big screen with the music and everything else. And
I was
holy
late.
balls.
I missed it.
No, it was good. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so guys, that's our review of the first Purge, which I'm sure is going to piss some people off.
Yeah, well, they can purge about it.
People liked it. But hey, you know what? If you liked it, we're not telling you we're wrong. We're just telling you how we feel about it,
Find us on the Purge Day and we'll fuck you up.
So, comment down below, let us know your all's thoughts. We love your fucking faces, and if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham opinion.
Don't purge, search.
Wait, before we go. We do have a SoundCloud now. We have a SoundCloud,
yes.
And I'm putting all...
What does that mean?
I'm putting all of our podcasts. So if you don't want to just watch the podcast on YouTube, if you want to listen to it, if you want to download them, they're going to be on iTunes. They're going to be on SoundCloud. I'll put the link down below, and we've also got extra shit on there. There's a show called The Remains. That's all the shit that we don't get to together when we see these movies. Like if I go see something, if Jay doesn't see it, whatever the situation is, and then we're going to put all the commentaries, all that stuff's going to be on there. So definitely go to that link below. Follow that RSS feed and all that shit or whatever. Just follow us on there.
So you're saying there's more content for free?
Touch your butt at night.
Wow.
Touch your butt at night and all over the place you'll go.
What?
We love your fucking faces. I hope you guys have an amazing fucking day and week and life.
See you guys at Terabithia.
Though it will be short.
Okay.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.